What's going on, guys? Hope you're all doing great. We have an event dungeon team that I want to share with you all that, most importantly, I want you to understand how the team works. You may not have these champions. It is more budget, potentially. I mean, the champions we're trying to replace here is Seer and Geomancer, which could both kind of be seen as budget champions. So what really is budget? I don't really know. I do know, however, mythical champions that are not free are not budget, so we're not going to include those today. With that said, if you understand how this team works, you can go out and build your own team that can do between 25 and 29. Stage 30, it's just a complete different ball game because we have Corrosa with the 6-star Ward of the Fallen, all that kind of annoying stuff. She becomes an absolute nightmare there. We may have had a little spoiler in that previous team preset there, but real quickly, the Hell Hades Stages tool has the stats and everything for stage 30. Just go here, stages tool. You can see your accuracy requirements and everything. I'm going to showcase a few of these stages, but if you want to try a higher stage, you can just see what the speed and accuracy needs are and build your champions around that. Now, stage 25 does not drop any mythical pieces. Stage 26, however, is when you're going to start getting these mythical drops, or the chance at mythical drops. It's a 0.32% chance. That's not very high. Of course, stage 30 has a much better chance of dropping mythical pieces. But when it comes to which stage you should be farming, I'm going to do a video on that either soon or maybe you've already seen it, but I'll try to link to it down below either way. And you may realize that if you don't have a very good, consistent team for stage 30, you're actually far better off doing one of these lower stages. Yes, you're going to get less mythical gear, but you're going to get more usable gear, which is ultimately what we're all after. Now, for this team, these are the champions. Now, with that said, you may be thinking, well, you said no Seer, but a +4 Skull Crown and an Inquisitor Shamel +4 6-star is much less budget friendly than Seer. And while that may be true, the essence of this team is basically replacing Seer for that one shot in the waves. You're going to still need a hard-hitting champion, but it doesn't have to be Skull Crown. Skull Crown is not doing anything especially amazing here. She does have an unkillable that does help her survive one of those boss's hits, which is pretty cool. The single target hit that if it kills somebody does an AoE hit instead. This does help her survive that, so it saves your team from a little bit of damage. The Inquisitor Shamel, however, he is fulfilling a role that is very, very impactful, but there is a champion we can replace this with. So let's say you wanted to do a little bit of a downscaled version of this, and you're okay with playing with the tunes, and I'll show you guys this in just a little bit as well. But the other version is what I tested about 50 plus times and no fails, and I don't really see a situation where it would, and I'm hoping it's going to be 100%. Of course, run it over 100 times, you can see the actual consistency, but there are two champions that stay alive very well that turn out to be very solid. So with that said, let's go ahead and see what champion would I use in this last spot. Well, here we have Lady Mikage. Lady Mikage is going to pair very good with champions who have AoE A1 abilities. For some reason, I'm going blank on basically everybody besides Skull Crown. Of course, Ray could do it, but I mean, you probably don't have a very strong Ray, right? So this spot could be filled with someone like Thor that I don't have. So if you have a Thor, while he's not going to join in and do a big AoE hit from Mikage's ability, he is going to do a very strong AoE from his A3 and his A2. You could even use a Marius. If your Marius is built very well, honestly, throw him in this spot. He is a free-to-play champion because you can get him without spending, but you may not have him built very well. So this spot is just a champion who can help you kill all the enemies in this wave. If you want to scale it up to a less budget-friendly approach, you could do a Siegfried. Yeah, I'm not going to use him to do the A3 and smash everything because it's not going to be consistent, but you could use him or any other wave clear, Trunda, it doesn't matter, any other epic champion who, Gimbo was actually my other option that I was considering going. He is not going to have that AoE A1 skill, but what he is going to have is an increased crit rate and increased crit damage on himself, which is going to be very strong. He has an AoE attack on his A2 ability, so he can most likely be a replacement for the Skull Crown. Now, as far as how this team works, let's jump in here. I'll show you guys how it works, and then we'll try to dive in a little bit deeper to see the actual builds, what's going on, what would help it be more consistent if you are having troubles. I tweaked this quite a bit, and it should be very good. Basically, we have Sun Wukong placing this block buffs, which is stopping the boss from stealing all of our increased attack and all that kind of stuff. Also prevents it from placing Shatter, as well as the increased crit rate on himself. So the damage we're going to be taking is far less than if the boss would have been buffing. However, I have the bolster set as backup, So if the boss does not have the block buffs placed or something weird goes on, we're still going to be okay. Basically, the bolster set's going to absorb some of that damage and we're going to be all right. Now, if you don't have bolster sets and you can't make this work, then you may have to just build your champions tankier. You could always throw a Geomancer in here still, built to do the second stage of the boss solo. That's going to be fine. He's still going to do that job, but I'm trying to get away from the regeneration plus the golden elixir strategy that's going around. Great strategy, awesome setup, but it is pretty reliant on having a strong champion to clear the waves. You could use the similar strategy to this, but also strong regeneration or possibly even Defiant gear. With that said, but you also have to have your golden elixir at a pretty decent level. So for this team, how we have the presets going, we have Deacon. He is in a bolster set, opening with the A3 and then the A2, almost 300 speed. Doesn't have to be that fast. I can slow him down some. The boss on stage 25 is going to be 210. The Kaimar, actually the fastest champion, is 230. So I can actually slow him down quite a bit. He's going to be fine. But I want to have this scaled up to a little bit higher stage so we can see how it works there also. The Inquisitor Shamel, he is in a, I don't know what set he's in actually. I think he's just there to survive. The only thing I really care about him doing is two things. One, cleansing those fears. And two, decreasing the boss's buff durations, or at least having a chance to do so whenever she switches forms and if she doesn't get that block buffs applied. So this ability, a lot of people miss this, but if you have accuracy, it'll have a chance of reducing a random buff's duration. So we could possibly strip that increased crit rate or even that shatter. Skull Crown is only here for damage. It could be any damage dealer you have. Lady Mikage could be a different ally attack champion. I'm using her because she gives increased attack, which makes it easier for me to clear the waves, but I can give you an example with Farrakhan as well. So Lady Mikage is a 9 pieces of protection. Doesn't need this. This is not required whatsoever. This is literally only because it just boosts my damage to the point where it was safe. If you can put better gear, more gear on these champions, it's going to be fine. If you have harder hitting nukers here, it's going to be fine. If you had a Georgid who's really strong, you could throw him in that spot. Of course, it's not a free-to-play, budget-friendly option, but it is an option. Sun Wukong. If you have a really well invested into Sun Wukong, it's going to be perfect. This one is decent. I wouldn't say he's geared insane, especially for this fairly higher stages of the event dungeon. But then again, if you wanted to use a Seer, you could throw a Seer in here, no problem. Seer is going to be great. Seer is actually an amazing option for this. But if you don't have Seer, you can go into some other options to try to one-shot these waves. Deacon, given that decreased defense, is going to make the wave a little bit weaker. So I can give you an example as well with Seer. Like I said, it's going to work perfectly fine. Inquisitor Shamel here is just in a broken set. Another bolster set or even a shield set would actually be very strong on him. That would probably be the best in slot for him. If you have a bolster plus a shield, they'll combine together for one massive protected shield. For the relics on all these other champions, there's no relics. Of course, you can adjust how easy or not it is by, throwing on some golden elixirs on some champions, throwing on Cat's Gaze on the Skull Crown, or whatever nuker you're using. It's not a problem. So let's go through and click everybody individually here. We have Lady Mikage. This is booked. Doesn't have to be, though. We have some extra accuracy. I really want to have the debuffs extended whenever it switches to the next form so we can keep that block buffs up as much as possible. We have Sun Wukong here, placing the block buffs. If you have a champion like Gerptuk, very solid champion there as well, placing the block buffs. All this champion's role is to place block buffs. I think Sun Wukong is amazing for it because he's also helping clear the waves. My Skull Crown can't do it alone, but he's also placing block buffs without doing an attack. So no weak hit possibility, but also just, I feel like it's more consistent this way. Granted, he is Spirit Affinity, so he's not going to be weak hitting against the boss anyways, but a champion like Ugo would be potentially weak hitting for a little bit less consistent runs. Gerptuk also doesn't do a hit on his ability, also boosts your damage dealer's damage, so he could be an excellent option as well if you have him. And then, of course, Sun Wukong does the res, so if you have one champion surviving, Wukong's going to be pretty good to come in and help speed that up a little bit. We have Shamel with his masteries there. His blessing doesn't really matter. Skull Crown, her blessing is actually better at Crushing Rend. I moved it to Cruelty just to be hopefully a little bit more relatable, but I don't know how relatable it will be or not. She doesn't even need the +4 doesn't really matter. Like I can probably take this ring off and be fine. It ultimately comes down to speed at that point. Well, my inventory is actually full, so I can't really do that. I guess I could sell a piece. Don't make excuses. Come on, just sell the pieces and let's see. Let's see if what you say is correct. We'll try it in just a moment. Deacon does not have to be this fast. Once again, I guess let's see if I am correct. We'll take off. I don't want to make him faster than, I don't want to make him slower than Mikage though. She's 280. He's 288. This will be fine. Farrakhan can be used, but since he only gives increased crit rate, increased crit damage, it's a bit harder for me to use him. So let's go ahead and try this again. Try these champions, and then we'll try to mix it up a little bit. I'll give you guys the example of Doom Priest. Now, the downside to Doom Priest instead of Inquisitor Shamel is the fact that Doom Priest isn't going to jump in there and do that buff reduction. She's going to take a turn after the boss goes, and the boss also places Weaken on this ability. So if she doesn't cleanse the fear, she could be cleansing the Weaken, which is not what you're looking for, right? Tahanarok could do the same thing, but once again, you're not cleansing those fears, which is the only thing you really care about having removed. If you think of another champion who could cleanse it, great. Unfortunately, the only way to resist this is to have higher attack than the boss, which is not going to happen. Targets whose attack is lower than this champion's attack cannot resist this effect. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Wait, the fear actually, is it resistible? Let's see. Because if the fear is resistible, then that actually changes quite a bit. It's the strip or the steel and the weaken that can't be resisted, I guess. So you can see here, Sun Wukong does this thing. Countess Licks will sometimes cut in there because what happens is whenever they receive debuffs, she gets her turn meter boosted. Deacon may, I guess he's being resisted by the Countess Licks, but if you have a big enough shield set, bolster set, you're looking pretty good. You can survive there. You're going to be fine. So can this be resisted? Okay, look. Yeah, places True Fear on all enemies for 1 turn. Targets whose attack is equal to or lower than this champion's cannot resist this effect. Her attack is like 8,000. What is her attack actually on this stage? 16,000 on stage 25. Why is that even a condition? Even with 50% attack reduced, if you did a decreased attack, she's still going to place this irresistible. And on stage 30, it's 21,000 attack. Why even include that? I have no clue. But this team's going to be under a minute consistently. Now, there's ways you can speed it up. Let's see if we throw in a Doom Priest here. So we don't actually even need the presets here. We'll go Doom Priest. Now, like I said, this is, I believe, a budget-friendly team. But you have to understand what's making it work. Because you don't need these specific champions. Maybe for you, this is easy and accessible. Maybe for the next player, they just don't have these champions. Unfortunately, my Doom Priest is not speed tuned correctly. Basically, you want her to be the fastest champion or close to the fastest so she can do that cleanse as soon as possible. So let's actually go for priority speed. Let's actually throw that shield set on like I mentioned. This would be a great way. You'll see that the bolster gets quite a bit bigger after this. So a nice shield set. Shield sets are not typically used nearly as much as they used to be. They used to be quite popular, but now you don't see them as much. Let's see. Let's go with HP percentage, gloves. She doesn't need to be that fast. She just needs to be just faster than my other champs. And they don't even need to be as fast as they are. Let's give this one a shot. Now, like I said, Doom Priest, see that the shield's bigger. Doom Priest is great. The only issue with Doom Priest is the fact that she could possibly be cleansing that weekend. Also, Inquisitor Shamel is going to be hitting that Countess Licks in case your other champions don't kill it, which you may think that's never going to happen, but as you can just now see, that could happen. We do have the increased attack on the boss, which dealt quite a bit of damage, but our shield set plus bolster set actually covered the difference for me. Sun Wukong does not strip the increased attack because of the lightning cage. More annoying blessings on the boss. Lightning Cage is not nearly as bad as Temporal Ward or a Ward of the Fallen, but yeah, Lightning Cage is still not too fun to deal with. So if Sun Wukong did steal this Shatter, which is pretty cool. But yeah, if Sun Wukong dies, it's fine because he'll just come right back, no problem. And there we go, 53 seconds. Doom Priest cleansing the fears. You basically want those fears cleansed as quickly as possible. I guess you could possibly even do a champion like Siphi, because what she is going to do is have a chance to just cleanse the fear anyways. So there are other options you could use. Here you can see we are not getting the actual kill on the waves, so you do need a little bit more damage. You could get that possibly by having Farrakhan in here instead of Mikage, because what he's going to do is place increased crit damage. Increased crit rate, increased crit damage. It may make a little bit of difference, but she's actually placing the same stuff, so it's not really going to make anything different. The Inquisitor Shemale is adding a little bit extra damage for me, but basically, the shield set plus the bolster set, wiping the waves pretty quickly, is going to make this all fine. And I'll give you an example of how Seer would do it also. Of course, if you have her, you can throw her in here, and I'll make it even quicker. Though you do lose your buffs, so that is something worth considering. Those shield sets and bolster sets I'm talking about, those are quickly going to become useless. So let's go to Seer real quick. That actually is a good point that may make this not nearly as consistent with her. May just not be doable with it, because she does remove the irremovable buffs, or the protected buffs. They're not protected from Seer. Okay, so now the boss can't still increase attack though. So having, I thought she stole protected buffs. Did she not? She stole the shield? I don't know what she stole actually. Maybe she's not stealing protected buffs. Either way, I thought she did. I guess I'm wrong. But I thought wasn't some of Mikage's stuff protected though? Did she remove some of it but not all of it? So obviously if you have Seer, easy slot in option. I just wanted to do some teams without using Seer, and the only other option is just do hard wave clear if you want to get to that second form as soon as possible. Now you could just chill in this form, block buffs and everything. It's just going to be a slower fight. I've had this wave survive and it not be that big of a deal. Let's actually try that as well. We'll throw a Finax in here, just some hard single target abilities. You could control this wave. The higher stages you can't really control though. Now this is going to be difficult because the boss will do the cleanse. But if my Finax is built still, he's not. But I did have a build on him that was pretty good. I don't really want to try that gear. We'll just try this on him. Actually, no, we won't try that. We'll try this on him maybe. Yeah. 275, sure. So we'll throw him in here instead of... Okay, let's see how this goes. So he'll be here just doing that hard-hitting A1 ability on the boss. Good double hits. If we had like a stun champion, AoE for the waves, that'd be great. We could even have Mikage open up with the ally attack and then swap forms and do the stun. Obviously, we have the block actives. But Doom Priest is just cleansing those. This wave does have, a little bit of heals, a little bit of annoying stuff. The boss does a heal, right? No, the boss doesn't do a heal. The Wither in the higher stages does the heal, which is super annoying. So if you can survive on stage 25, you're going to be okay. Finax can bring in some extra damage. But of course, if you don't have good supports, you're going to have a hard time here. As you can see, Finax actually just went down. So you're going to want to kill these champions as quickly as possible. Having a champion like Mikage, if you throw in your Skull Crown or an AoE champion, just going to help you clear those waves a little bit quicker. And Sun Wukong's just a really good champion here as well. Like, he's going to help clear those waves very fast. Or over time. Even if he's not built to the level mine is, which mine does have Cat's Gaze on him, even if he's not built to this level, it's not going to be that big of a deal. He doesn't have to be built this high. Just have him somewhere close to it, right? Deacon placing the Leech is going to help you with some of your healing on the boss throughout the fight as well. And the boss does target Sun Wukong also, which is pretty cool. So we get the Leech up, top up our HP, and then Sun Wukong will just keep rezzing to kill the boss. Now this works on this stage, but that's not going to work on stage 28, 29, and 30, where they have Volcanos who's, blocking your revive because of his passive skill. But let's take it a step further. Let's go to stage 26, see how it works here. Now, if I start getting higher and higher stages, I'm going to want to start changing these champions, and I'll try to swap out some champions and give you guys an example of what other champions you may want to use. So here, unfortunately, the Kymar, wait, my Skull Crown's not even built, is she? Did I take stuff off of her just now? I think I did. Yeah, I did. Dang it. I'm swapping this gear around. I mean, we actually killed more champions than I expected with Skull Crown not having gear on, which is pretty sweet. We'll do this. But 291, that's not where her speed needs to be. What the heck? That's way too fast, Skull Crown. What in the world? Is this your build? 274? That's too fast as well. What was she wearing? I don't know what she was wearing, honestly. We definitely don't need this, though. This is not even her build. This is my Marius's build. You know, maybe I should name these presets. That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it? I think I had a attack percentage pair of boots on her. Like this. Yeah, we'll leave it. It's plenty of damage. It'll kill everything, right? So Deacon here can weak hit on the Kymar. You do have to be careful with the Chalco. If you decide to start using some control champions, Chalco is just going to counterattack you and block passives and make your day bad. The Inquisitor Shamil there, killing the Wither at the very end, is very helpful because building these champions to hit hard enough to wipe everything may not be possible for you. Well, like I said, there's Seer as an option, though I don't like including her in the thumbnail with a circle and an X through her and then saying that she's not going to be involved and then showcasing her. But between me and you could use Seer still. She's going to do great. She will make this work. But if you don't have her, just focus on having enough damage to get the waves down, just that first go around, and then sink your damage into the boss. If the boss gets a turn to remove this block buff, that's where things start going a little bit more sideways. So here we go. Boom, done. That's stage 26. Can we do stage 27? I'm actually not even sure if I can. I haven't tried stage 27 yet. We do have 2 counts of the Ward of the Fallen, which means now Ward of the Fallen is not going to be up anymore, which is pretty sweet. Okay? Well, the Kymar's still there. Now we're all slept. Now things, how are they going to look? I don't even know, honestly. So, actually, this may actually be fine, to be honest, because this form of the boss is good. Like it's relatively easy to deal with it. Unfortunately, we didn't strip anything from anybody. Probably had to boost my accuracy a little bit. Yeah, this form of the boss is good. The other form is not so good. I don't like it as much. But it's kind of hard to keep her in this form too long. I mean, obviously here we're actually staying in this form longer than I expected. She will switch very soon. I'd much rather her switch whenever I want her to versus just a random time. So now he's doing the A1 ability. Skullcrown's about to die here. But as long as we have these champions alive, basically Sun Wukong's going to keep coming back. Lady Mikage, if you had her with War Master, it'd be great because then she could be healing on this. And while this and this setup with these stats may not be 100% consistent, Sun Wukong's soaking this damage. If Mikage survives this, then it's going to be fine, right? Let's see. Okay, then we go with the ally attack. So stage 27, it's fine as well. Inquisitor Shamil is helping out a ton. Like I said, though, Doom Priest can be a similar fill-in for him. Not exactly the same, though. Now, this stage is where things just take a turn sideways completely, and you just can't do it no more. This is where you'd have to start upgrading your champions quite a bit. You'd have to start, well, upgrading your champions not in a gear sense, but in an actual champion sense. Like, you can't be using these champions anymore for it to be very smooth and easy. Not as likely, at least. Let's see. If I could kill Volcanos with Inquisitor Shamil, may actually be fine, though, to be honest. Like, if he was to die and I get my... Okay, well. I mean, we have no HP burn on me anymore, which is pretty nice. They have the continuous heal, which is not really that big of a deal. The Wither with a continuous heal on herself. I don't really mind if the ball stays in this form, because this form's not going to be the one that kills me. It's going to be that next form that kills me. Sun Wukong's about to strip everything. There we go. But of course, they have the cleanses and all that kind of nonsense. Now the change of the forms happens, and the boss is gonna do the fear. We cleanse all the fear. But look, see that shatter's ticking down. It ticked once, I think. It didn't tick anymore, unfortunately. Okay, so Deacon's alive now. All right, so this is, like I said, this is where the stage kind of just meets its max. However, Deacon with his leech is actually doing really good at keeping this going. I mean, if you had him in Golden Elixir, this could work out good because he has that A1 leech that he's using. If he takes a turn here, if we get leech up, Sun Wukong comes back, and Sun Wukong's gonna be the one hitting the ball, like getting focused by the boss. As long as we don't die here. We just don't have enough accuracy, I guess, to actually place that leech, which is unfortunate. But that leech could keep him in a good spot, actually. If we just get it placed one more time. Man, I'm just thinking golden elixir would be so perfect here. There we go, leech, excellent. So now if we get a turn, there we go. So I don't think he doesn't have War Master either. He just has, maybe he does. I don't know actually. Obviously this is slow. If everybody was still alive, this would be much quicker. But the fact that it may actually complete it successfully is kind of impressive and surprising to me, considering he's not really built for this. Like he's not built with enough accuracy, obviously, because he keeps getting resisted. Those are some big hits though. 17,000. Oh, it's the bolsters that he has on. He's not getting crit very often, which is great. Okay, there we go. Oh. One more hit, Wukong. Oh no. Well, I'm going to count that as a win, guys. I think you should count it as a win as well. Either way, let's go to stage 29. If I was to upgrade this stuff, this stage, I mean, we could do this. I bet this would kind of work. This is probably going to be about the cap, though. I'm putting Mikage in the lead just for the extra accuracy, which is apparently now leaves me with not enough speed. With that said, they do have some more buffs now, so maybe everything's okay. So we do this, more buffs. HP burn's going to get to me. All this kind of stuff's just not really great. Do we kill everything? We do kill everything, actually. So now we just need that burn off of me as soon as possible, basically. Now, when we go to this next wave, we're basically dead, right? Like when the ball switches, so we don't have block buffs up. Yeah. So the ball said cleansed. The block buffs was not up. Now the increased attack is up there. We may get it reduced a little bit here. You can see, possibly. Okay. So, obviously, I don't expect Deacon to survive this. I mean, there's a small chance that we make something happen here. We have the block buffs. I think Mikage's just dead, right? Yeah, she's dead. So here's not going to work great. But the idea would be the same. Now, if you wanted to switch out Deacon for somebody, you could definitely come in here and look for different champions who could do similar stuff. Of course, we want decreased defense or decreased defense ideally. Though you may not even need decreased defense. Ultimately, I don't want to get into too much more theory crafting, guys. This video's been long enough for you all. But let's get Seer out of there. Let me think of another champion who you guys will have. Of course, I want him in the lead to have the extra speed aura. Another really good Marius would be a really good one. My Marius is just not built very good, so I can't kill all the champions there. Skullcrown works fine, and like she should still kill everything, right? It's just now the Volcanos becomes an issue. So since the Volcanos is going to be such a nasty... Also, the Mortu Macabre. Mortu Macabre adds so much RNG to it because what he does is he has his turn meter boost whenever he gets hit with a skill. Right there, he could easily cut in on me. So, yeah. I wouldn't even count this as being consistent. It's just, let's just forget about stage 29. 28 is also the same thing. Yeah, it's 28. So what I'm going to say is that this would be good for 25 to 27. It can work on these stages. 28, 29, 30, it's not going to work on these because Mortu can pop off with his passive and then kill your champion and it's kind of over. You could die at the wrong time and then it's kind of over. But these three stages, it can definitely work. This stage specifically is going to be your highest at 27. It's not going to have those annoying faction unity champions. And you're going to be able to do it with this team right here. Now, I would need to come in here and boost my accuracy a little bit and make sure everything's looking good, maybe a bit more damage possibly. Of course, if the decreased defense lands everywhere, then we're fine. Of course, if I wanted to, instead of Skullcrown, I could throw in my Siegfried, or if you have a Thor or something like that, you could throw those champions in. If you have a good Void Affinity nuker, throw that champion in here. If you have a Leoris, he could work in here. He has an unkillable similar to Skull Crown. Yeah, you could throw all your various different champions in here that could replace or fill in a spot for a damage dealer. Skull Crown's not necessarily special, except for the fact that she does do that AoE hit that gives extra value from Mikage. So she's basically getting 2 turns, whereas most nukers will only get 1, which is something worth considering. Now, you could also maybe have a Shadowkin champion. Maybe you have a strong Harima who you could bring in here, who could just do a big AoE swipe. I have a Harima. I could throw her in here, and then she'll join in on the boss's A1 hits. She'll make the boss ignore a little bit less defense. Let's give it a shot. Why not? Harima, throw her in here. She has a Crushing Rend. Okay, she's not built for this, though. Not built at all. Like, actually, no gear. Let's throw on this stuff that I was actually using before, I guess, for her. We'll have her open with that A3 skill. Oh, wait, bad idea, because he's going to block passes everywhere. But how bad of a situation is this? I don't even know. Okay, so we obviously didn't kill everybody, but maybe not a huge deal because, actually, yeah, Harima may not even be able to do this. She will reduce some of the defense ignore stuff, but not killing the wave that fast. Okay, we got through the wave. We got the block passives off of us. How hard is the boss hitting now? Harima will bring the decrease attack, though, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Okay, wow. So Skull Crown actually just did this a lot better, basically. Really, Deacon plus Wukong together, quite strong. A bolster Deacon. Doesn't even have golden elixir, but I think if he had it, it'd be great. Throw a Wukong, pair it with him, kill the waves, and this wave's no problem. That's really the strategy with anything. It's like on these lower stages where you don't have the Ward of the Fallen to deal with, it's gonna be fine. Deacon plus Wukong works out great. So hopefully this is giving you some ideas you can go off of to build your own event dungeon team. The speeds, like I said, are over here on the Hell Hades website, Hell Hades Stages tool. You have 245 there, so just keep your champions above, honestly, 271. You want to go before Kymar for at least your speed booster. Other champions not as important. Wukong, very helpful there, continually rezzing. Deacon could do it alone, but it's going to take a long time. If I was to take a Harima out, since I've been saying this the whole time, let's put in a Siegfried. Is he built, though? Yeah, he is definitely built. Let's put him in here. Okay, so Deacon does his thing. Siegfried. I don't know if he's even about to get a turn or not. Maybe pretty slow, actually. He's actually very slow. Had to put Skull Crown's gear over on him. He is magic affinity, so there will be some weak hits going out. He's 302 now. We'll just start off with his A2. I don't care. There we go. Deacon doing the boosts. As long as Wukong gets a turn before Siegfried. Okay, does right there. Well, obviously, you would want Wukong to take a turn before Siegfried comes back around. But this would clearly work on this stage. And it's probably something I'm going to be more or less running on my account if I'm doing these lower stages. If I'm not able to get a 100% consistency on stage 30, I'll probably just run this. It's going to be fast. It's going to be safe. Yeah, stage 27. Honestly, this is a great team here. You can use different champions besides Siegfried. I already showed that. You just need around 250 speed or so. On this stage, you don't have to worry about proccing a passive where they'll cut in, though. All right? So none of them are cut in. You just possibly have a weak hit from the Deacon on the Kymar. But Deacon's job is decrease defense and turn meter boost. You can swap that out with something else. If you have a nuker who can place decrease defense, AoE, well, there you go. Actually perfect, right? The chicken. Gallius, he could come in here, no problem. Let's see. So Harima's build here. Not quite enough crit rate there, mister. Priority stat, crit rate, high. Let's go down here to Merciless real quick. 6 extra, we lose 9 speed. Okay, it's fine, I gotta take it. 15 extra, lose 19 speed. We don't really want that, but 216, let's see if we can make it work. All right, we have the chicken boy in here. I can boost his speed a bit more though if I need to, which I probably will need to. But he will do the decrease. All right, I'm swapping out Deacon for him actually. So he swaps forms and does the guaranteed decreased defense. So you'd want him going before like Sun Wukong or something. So you could place that decreased defense on everybody and Sun Wukong could do that big hit. Obviously, I would want him to hit harder than what he is because he's not hitting that hard right now. I guess I didn't boost his stats high enough or something. But he could also swap back to the original form and do some damage. So we're dabbling into these mythical champions, but other champions with decreased defense. Let's stay focused here. Decreased defense. Ragash, very well, potential good, but against Chalco could be bad for you. We have Ray, AoE A1, decreased defense. Weak hitting on Wither and the boss, but that may be fine for you. May not matter at all. Let's give it a well. If I give it a shot here, let's see. All right, I'm testing too much stuff now, guys, but hopefully, I guess if you're not interested, you would have already left, right? So if you're still here, hopefully it's helping you out. Let's see. Go crit damage here. Just throw a little bit extra on her, and then accuracy, because we want to place that decreased defense. And yeah, we're good. I don't need a ring on her. We're just gonna try without a ring. So instead of him, this time we could go like a Arbiter, for example. Okay. Wait, where is my Arbiter? Hopefully she's built. She's not built. Let's say do air base. Just pretend it's an Arbiter. The turn meter boosting stuff's gonna be the same. So it's basically the same thing here, okay? Don't let your brain trick you. Arbiter, air base. What's the difference? He's also gonna do the True Fear, of course. We didn't quite have enough damage actually with Ray either. So honestly, Skullcrown's a very, very solid option. She does that A1 ability, double hitting with Mikage, and then the A2 AoE. So there you go, guys. Either way, you get the point. You see the options. You see the champions you can use. You see some different ideas. Sun Wukong, very, very powerful. Inquisitor Shamil, very, very big help. If you have other block debuff champions you want to throw in here, give them a shot. There's plenty of other ones. Crixia can be an excellent option with the block buffs into a cooldown reset. You can obviously make some very fast teams with this. But ultimately, guys, best of luck building your teams for this event dungeon. I'm going to go back to the live servers and probably build something like this for stage 27. To be honest, stage 27 versus 29, it's not, or sorry, 27 versus 30. I'm probably just going to go to 27 if I can have one of them 100% consistent. Unless I can make 28 100% consistent, or 29. We'll see. Either way, thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it, and I'll catch you all on the next one.